It was very interesting to hear him talk about home and where do we belong.
The number of people who are living in countries not their own now comes to 220 million. And the number of us who live outside the traditional nation-state categories is growing so quickly by 64 million just in the last 12 years that soon there'll be more who belong to the nation of deracination than there are Americans. As it is, we already represent the 5th largest nation on earth. And so I think for more and more people now, where you come from is much less important than where you're going. People are rooted really in the future or the present tense more than in the past.
I'm a Palestinian studying in California, so I feel that although Palestine is definitely my home, California will become a part of me or part of my home now. So it was very interesting to hear him talk about how it's not important where we come from, but where we're going.
I liked that he connected his lecture back to Chapman's commitment to having their students really strive to become global citizens.
When I travel around the world, as I do quite a bit, if I'm in a city, often the typical person I meet will be, let's say, half Korean, half German young woman living in Paris. And as soon as she meets a half Thai, half Canadian young man from Edinburgh, she recognizes him as kin. And she realizes she probably has much more in common with that person than she does with somebody entirely of Korea or entirely of Germany. And so often they'll become friends, they'll fall in love. And the little girl who arises out of their union, of course, is not going to be Korean or German or French or Thai or Canadian or Scotch or even American, but a wonderful and I think constantly evolving mix of all those places.
Being in the humanities, that isn't something that's always emphasized the same way it is in business or political science, so I really liked that he brought that back to the liberal arts.
I think what excited me was knowing that there's a dialogue and conversation happening around the world about globalization and being an international citizen. And like Mr. Pico Iyer was saying, it's not only in technology, but it's also human, it's the soul, it's on a human level, and I appreciate that a lot.
I really enjoyed the opportunity to speak with Pico, and more so not just getting to hear him speak in a forum format like this, but the fact that he actually goes into classes, and that's something Chapman provides, that they have their guests actually interacting with students, with undergraduate students, and not having distinct boundaries.